you so much. So because of time, before we move into the next session, our first session of the day, which is going to be a panel discussion, a panel of interaction and also debating on different matters around SRHR. Alex, mambo vipi?
Poa sana Mark, ukoaje?
Niko salama.
Leo umekula kwanza?
Mungu anasaidia.
Umekula kwanza before we start, because taki hapa we start working alafu unatuambia tuende ya health break. Mungu inakuanga kazi yake. Unajua Mark's one saying, anasemanga kila time, Hallelujah proverb says that no matter what you go through in life,
eat fast.
Eat fast, si ndio? Kumbe hadi Hallelujah wana agree.
Tunakubaliana? Si ni kweli? Eat. Lakini sasa kabla tukule, lazima tupate neno la roho.
Neno la roho kweli Mark.
Neno la akili. Tukuze maarifa yetu katika masuala ya kijinsia. Ani SRHR, sexual reproductive health and rights. Ndio. Wangapi walikuwa hapa jana? Wangapi walikuwa hapa jana? Tuwapigieni makofi jamani, watu wapigieni makofi.
Thank
you so much for coming.
Tuulize wenye walikuwa jana hapa, nini ilibamba? Nini ilibamba?
Nini ilibamba jana?
Unaweza niongezea hii mic mkuu?
Naomba merchandise iteremke huko chini tafadhali, kama mnanisikia. Naomba merchandise iteremke huko chini. Leta zote.
We speak through the chair. Aya Mark.
Very nice.
Wengine wameinua hapa mkono, niambie unataka kuongea na nani. Hadi wale wanasema wanataka kusema kitu ilibamba. We are coming there. Acha tuanze hapa.
Nani anataka kuongea? Asimame. Kama unataka kuongea simama jamani. Simama tu, usiogope. Usiogope. We give everyone an opportunity at this place.
Na wakisimama wote. Aya sawa, wenye wamesimama ni sawa.
Aya tuanzie huko nyuma tukija mbele.
Aya.
Tuanzie nyuma tukija mbele. Thank you so much. Unatuambia jina? Wewe ni nani na kwa nini ni wewe? Alafu jana yako ilikuwaje?
Okay, my name is Purity Mudeu from M-Pesa. And kitu ilibamba jana ni the quiz. Kulikuwa na quiz yenye ilikuwa inaendelea hapo. It was led by Bella. Quiz of
wapi Bella? Anakuja. Sawa, endelea. Ilikuwa
quiz ya true or false. And you'll find that kuna watu wako na different perspectives on the sexual reproductive health. Walikuwa wana answer the questions differently. Yeah, that was the most interactive session for me.
Wapi makofi yake jamani? Kwa hivyo alitoka na kitu hapa jana. Alitoka na kitu hapa jana. Jana ilikuwa about the facts and myths about SRHR. Kwa hivyo ulipata kitu. Kuna mwingine alielewa kitu hapo. Inua tu mkono kama ulielewa kitu kingine.
Kuna ndugu yangu hapa nyuma Mark. Naona amevaa shati ya CM Trust. Ama ni nini? CM Trust, CME Trust.
Very nice.
Habari zenu.
Nzuri sana.
Naitwa Kenneth Mwangi. Nimetoka Canada Mathare Education Trust. Tuko pale Mathare. Jana kitu nililearn ni hiyo interaction ya sexual sexual awareness, hiyo ya kuna madam alisema pale ati magirls wanakuwa rust na maboys sana, but mimi siko agree na yeye. Alafu bado hiyo kupatia
Kwa nini hau agree?
Kwa sababu like tukiamua kufanya sex pamoja ni sisi wawili tumeagree, so consequences zikikaa si ati zina face girls sana.
Lakini tulisema nini ya kwanza kabla mfanye hiyo tendo?
Si ni consent.
Mkipatiana consent ni sawa?
Ni sawa. Na sasa pia hiyo bado like kukani kama una turn down the boy child ikuwe like inakuwa yeye ndio the main suspect kwa history yote ya abortion, pregnancy, kutoenda shule. Hiyo ikunibamba. Na bado kuna dem huyo Viola alisema ati tunaweza anza Dream Boys. Niko na yeye hadi mimi jana.
Very nice, very nice. Wapi makofi ya Mwangi?
Mark.
Yes.
And I think basically conversation yote ya the boy child and all that.
Yeah.
We have not had a time to speak about it, but today from 2 we'll be having a panel about how men can advance like SRHR. So tunaweza taka kuona sana kwa that nini ukuje kwa hiyo session. It's from 2 to 3. We'll have amazing conversation. It purely the panelists will be men, so we'll have that conversation.
Yeah, that is the role of men in SRHR, in the sexual reproductive health and rights. Sawa. Ambia jirani saa 8.
Wananiuliza wenye ameongea washuke hapo chini Mark.
Washuke kwanza. Washuke kwanza. Kuja tu
tumekumark sawa. Si ile mbaya. Tumewamark. Ni wewe na Mudeu, si ndio?
Keep standing, usiketi chini. Kama umeongea usiketi chini.
Kuna yule ameongea pale mbele sijui ameketi. Ako wapi? Hapa. Sawa. Tumerudi huku.
Barizeni.
Nzuri sana.
My name is Virginia Mura. I'm a licensed caregiver and an SRHR champion. Jana tulilearn vitu mingi, but what most stood out for me ule chali wa spoken word, especially when he said utaambiaje dem education is the key to success. Na shajifungua.
Hey. Kali hiyo.
Hiyo itabidi tumwambie explain juu kuna watu wengine imewapita mbaya sana.
We are slow learners.
You are slow learners?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, education is the key to success. We should all know that. Like, we should let girls just go to school mpaka afike the legal age. And even if akifika the legal age, we still need consent. But akishajifungua, she's no longer a girl. Yeah. She's now a woman and a mother. Wow. Yes.
Awesome. Wapi
makofi yake bana. That was very amazing.
Nangoja zawadi zangu jamani.
Ziko hapa, niko nazo, ndo nashuka nazo. Ndo nakuambia waje chini ama wabaki hapo.
Wabaki tu hapo.
Haya. Sawa, naenda wapi kwingine? I think ni watatu, wanne wamebaki hapo wakisimama. So we can just speak to them, then we proceed.
Yes.
Let me start with the gentleman here.
Okay, so hi everyone.
Hi.
My name is Marklex Moretti from M-Pesa Foundation Academy. So the first thing that I have two things. The first thing that I learned, it's like nikam semo. Oh, madam alisema if you don't buy kiss, you'll buy kiss kids. And then another thing, my sister here, I didn't know she has that knowledge. So she gave us some options of abstinence, or not to you should do when you abstain from sex affairs. You can focus on your mental growth, and this is by praying and also participating in other things that will remove you from the urge to participate in sexual desires. Yeah.
What's your name again?
My name is Marklex.
Marklex Moretti. Asante sana.
Alikuwa anasema ati my sister here, I didn't know she has that knowledge. Alafu sister anasema stop. Sister. Wacha nikuje kwa sister. Wacha nikuje.
Nitaambia teacher.
Stop.
Nitaambia teacher.
So hi everyone.
Hi.
My name is Cheryl Cosmas, and yesterday the last session was my favorite, and yeah, we were discussing a lot. We sat somewhere there and people were bringing out their different perspectives on different matters, and the question that really stood out for me was, what is the appropriate age or age difference for people taking part in romantic relationships? It was an ongoing argument, and we didn't reach to a conclusion, because most people think that if you love someone, you don't have to look at age. But again, we look at the purpose of that relationship. If you have decided to marry that person, then you can't marry someone you have like 30 years difference. So it just narrows down to what is the purpose of your relationship, and that really stood out for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you so
much. Cheryl, stop.
One thing I love about this, Moretti's mentioned that he learned from Cheryl something yesterday. And that's why we are here, to learn from each other, having these discussions. And for the discussion ambazo zijaisha, we have experts who are here.
Amesema the first thing is you can't marry someone who is 30 years. 30 years older than you. Sasa kwa watu wenye wako hapa, story wa babas naona tumepiga hapa mwisho, tutaki kusikia hiyo story. 30 years old person with someone who's 30 years younger than you, mnafanya nini? Unamwambia nini? Aya, let's proceed huku tukimalizia, we start the next panel discussion.
Very nice.
Yeah, to add on what we learned, yenye wamesema, we also reminded each other that not everyone that has HIV engaged in sex. There is HIV gotten from birth and maybe accidents, blood donation, etc. It's not always sex that makes people have HIV, so we should not stigmatize the people who have HIV for having engaged in unhealthy sex.
Wapi makofi yake? Very informative. Haya, tukisongea hapa tuko karibu kumaliza. Unaweza kaa kama umesimama bado, unaweza simama. Sawa, stand out. Tunataka kuwapatia zawadi zenyu, everyone who spoke. Ama mtaki zawadi?
Mko poa. Kwa majina ni Brayo. And yes, the thing, jana nilipata demystify some of the things that go on around. False, there are usually false accusations, some false things about something. e.g. about sex, and I got to get informed and all those kind of stuff. Thank you.
Huyo ndo ule wa karate, si ndio? Tulisema
Ayo.
hapa security ni tight, tumemmark.
Very tight, very tight, very tight.
Shida ikikuwa,
Uh-huh.
we have people who can assist us here. Back
Alright,
to you, Mark.
Alex, since we have limited time, I'm told that we only have 4 hours here. And we have to cover everything. We have the shortest time that we need to cover everything that we are going to do today. So we are going to rush a little bit on our schedule. So wale ambao walisimama wakaongea, nataka uwape zawadi. And as you give them some presents, I want to invite on stage someone, a very awesome human being, a very nice gentleman, and goes by the name Nelson. Not Nelson Mandela. Not Nelson Mandela. But he has the brains and the wisdom of Nelson Mandela. So, friends and colleagues, students, let's welcome Nelson Akoth on stage from Naya, Kenya. Wapi makofi ya Nelson jamani? Wapi makofi ya Nelson jamani? Jamaa amepiga pamba safi. Suti imekubali. Hey, uje walisema Nipe mic Alex. You got your mic. Nipitishie mic hapa mbele. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Karibu sana Nelson. This is your
Hi.
stage.
Thank you.
Uko sawa na hii kiwa hapa? Iko sawa
Very
hapo?
nice, very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Unajua walisema
nice.
ukivaa suti unakuwa na tabia za suti. Ukivaa suti
Hey, we have
Sikuwa na
young
tabia ya
people
kinyasa.
here. Saa zingine, for young people,
Ehe.
lazima ukue flexible.
very nice.
So kinyonga tai, lazima ukue na time ya
Ehe.
kutulia na utulize mambo.
Awesome.
Kabisa.
Wapi makofi ya Mokaya tena? Thank you so much. The stage is yours.
Good morning once again. The last 2 days, tumekuwa na conversations around SRHR. Sindo? Wangapi wamekuwa hapa for the last 2 days? Na kuanga na soft voice hivyo, so usishtuke. Soft voice, sawa sawa? Okay. Now, I want us to have maybe a question of 2 things yenye ulipata for the last 2 days. 2 people, 2 things yenye ulilearn in the last 2 days. One person. I want to see if you picked anything za SRHR, either jana ama the first day. Okay. There's a hand here. Help. Yes? Okay, so we've learned that we had discussions around HIV. So today the session will cover what the law says about SRHR. Sawa. So tukiongelelea SRHR, what does the law say? Na sheria usema nini kuhusu mambo za SRHR. Sawa. Tukiongelelea stigma, do we have sheria zenye zinaongelelea stories za stigma? Sawa. So to help us have that conversation, I'll invite a very, very expertise team to help us have the conversation. I'll start by Obegi Kevin Mukaya. He's a writer.
Makofi.
Karibu sana Kevin. He's a writer and a very passionate SRHR advocate. Next, I'll invite Josephine Odhiambo. If you want to define beauty with brains, there it is. Next, the audience. So, Kevin, just in 2 minutes, each of you will just say 2 things you want us to know about you. Just 2 things. Sawa. Okay.
It's morning. Good morning. I am Obegi Kelvin Mokaya. I am a young person, that's of importance, and I'm a trained teacher.
You are a teacher.
That's news to me. Hi, everyone. I like attention. Hi, everyone. My name is Josephine Odhiambo. I currently work at the Malki Initiative as a program officer, but on the side, I consult on issues around sexual reproductive health and rights. I go to school. I talk to students on issues of sex and everything in between. And mimi nimelelewa Dandora, and I went to Dandora Secondary. I've not seen my school people here, but it's okay.
Hi everyone. Aki, wave at me. Hi everyone. So my name is Mercy Wanjiko, and I am a sexual reproductive health strategist, and at the same time a youth consultant, and I work at IREP, Ambassador for Youth and Adolescent Reproductive Health Program. Thank you.
I think I can use this. Good morning. Oh, sorry. Good morning. Habari zenu. Woza ni salamu ya Gen Zs. Woza. My name is Terry Owino. I am an ecofeminist. I work for Feminists for Peace, Rights and Justice Center. It's a women's rights organization in Kibera. My work is on the intersection of gender and climate change, and I do a lot of work on the sidelines of SRHR as well. I am so happy that the people we are talking to are young people, because SRHR mostly affects young people. We are 75% of the Kenyan population, sindio? So the fact that young people are our audience, wanatusikiza hapa leo ni kitu poa sana.
Okay, thank you. Now, going directly to Calvin, we want to understand policies that guides conversations around SRHR. Kindly take it.
Thank you very much, Nelson. To note is that we have several policies, we have several legislations that guide sexual and reproductive health and rights in the country. We have also guidelines on the same, like the NASH policy, that is the National Adolescent and Sexual Health Policy, which has been revised over many years now. We have the Compi Park guidelines on the provision of abortion that were launched last year secretively after several pressure from the CSO and other key stakeholders. But I don't really want to go into the jargon today. I want to speak to young people about things that really matter to them, but in a very simple and understandable language. Yeah.
Okay. Just to highlight further on NASH policy, how does that relate to the young people who are seated here?
It's giving life to the sexual and reproductive health and rights of young people in the country. When you talk about things like comprehensive sexuality education, which is really broadened in the policy itself, we have high schoolers here, and we know that currently they are going through a curriculum that has been dubbed as CSC, which is the reality that in the schools, whatever they are being given, it's just a top layer of the real thing. You know, when I was in high school some few years ago, we used to, you know, when it's about to reach lunch break, we were really eager to hear that bell so that we rush to the DH to have the top layer, which in real sense is not really nutritional to our bodies, just full of fatty oils and all. The real thing is down there in the cooking pots with the fleshy meats and the bone marrows. And that's exactly what the Ministry of Education is giving to our young people. They are not well informed. They are having limited knowledge on sexuality for them to even make informed choices that really matter for their health now and in the near future. So something like CSC is really spoken about in the policy itself. And when you look about the restrictions around abortion, uavyaji wa mimba, and having contraception, we all know that today young people are restricted from getting contraceptions, especially from our own health facilities. Just because they are young, they're not of age, which we know as being an adult in Kenya is 18 years. They need consent from parents, from their guardians, to access this contraceptive. The same is also being highlighted in such a policy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mokaya, because you've really expanded the options that we are having in our discussions. One of the young people here mentioned about abstinence, right? Kevin has brought a second option, What if you were at a corner that you had to decide on having sex? Were you able to access services that enables you to have safer sex and prevent SRHR issues that might pop up as a challenge? Sindio? Okay, my second question will go to Josephine. And we want now to understand, Kevin has mentioned about one of the policies that exist. How does community, that inclusive of the young people here, influence and also complement implementation of such policies?
Okay. So I'll speak with regards to the context of students, right? When you talk about changing policy, before we get into changing policy or influencing policy within the sexual productive health and rights space, within the context of the student, changing policy can look like, I'll give an example of my former school. Every Friday, tulikuwa tunapatiwa githeri. I did not like that githeri, to be honest. Cause ilikuwa tu mahindi, hakukuwa na beans, maragwe. Hakukuwa na beans, right? So by the time we were leaving, tulijaribu kurally, support, kuongea na head teachers, the DH captain to please help us with this issue. We do not want githeri. And the teachers are like, oh, there's nothing we can do at this moment. So we're like, okay, we are leaving. We might as well just put in a little bit of fire, those behind us. So we told them, we've been able to fight for githeri kutolewa from the menu up to this point. So you see tunaenda, it's up to you guys to push it. When I went back 2 years later, githeri was removed from the menu because we had rallied support. We had come together as students and we said this is what we wanted. We identified who could bring us the change that we needed, which was the head teacher. But because the class of 2016 could not succeed, we allowed the others to continue with the journey. So even when it comes to changing policies, when you're walking alone, it becomes difficult. But then if you have and you bring together different students who support your cause, and there's a change you want within your school setup, then you mobilize people to come to your side, and then you influence that change. That's the same thing that happens within sexual reproductive health and rights within our different communities. I may be working on issues of sexual reproductive health and rights, but focus yangu ni menstrual health. Mercy is still working on sexual reproductive health and rights, but focus yake maybe ni advocating for people living with HIV to have access to treatment. Both of us, issues zetu zinaambatana. Tuna venye zina mix vizuri. So as opposed to working alone, nitenda niongeleshe Mercy, we come and work together. So some of the ways the communities can be able to influence policies: one, mobilize each other, speak in one voice. If we are going left, we are all going left. Even if Mercy doesn't agree, but the fact that we've agreed we are going left, we will go left. If you're going right, we are going right. Speaking under one voice, that's one. Secondly, with the issue of githeri, we couldn't just say Form 4s are the ones being affected. No, the whole school was complaining. So we had data, we had evidence. Kuonyesha, by the way, it's just not us. So when you're doing your advocacy and when you want to influence any policy, make sure you have data. Data can be from your fellow students. It can be the different stories of uya alikula githeri akashikwa na moeba, uya alikula githeri akaanza kuhara. Make sure you have evidence to prove what you're saying is actually true. So collecting evidence, mobilization, those are some of the ways in which communities can come together to influence the different policies. So for the students, look at what your context is and borrow. See at what works for me works for you. If building the masses for you works, use that strategy. If data is what works with your school, use that strategy.
Thank you so much, Josephine. And going to Mercy, Josephine mentioned about, in the context of students, we might target head teacher, deputy head teacher, or a key person within that environment. Now, when we're talking about issues of policies, who are these key people that young people can target so as to influence the policies that have impact on their lives?
In the context of students, just as Josephine said, some of the policymakers that we can target are in the context of SRHR, maybe the county health committee. Mnajua county health committee ni nini? Do you guys know what that is? Okay, so the county health committee basically is a group of MCAs who've come together just to make sure that the health of the county is at a good place. So I think that is a very critical and very crucial part of policymakers that you should target. And just as Josephine has said, I think some of the ways that we can leverage on is evidence-based research. Vile tu amesema, we are youth, sindio? We are students. For them, they used the data and evidence that was there to change the githeri that was there. So for us as students, for us as young people, we can do research and use the data that we have to influence policymakers, so that when they are making policies, hawajatumekia, we are involved in co-creating the policies, so that they may speak to our needs. And I think in regards to that, also let's make sure, like kama sisi wenye tuko shule, let's make sure our head teachers and those who are in campus, our chancellors are involved. We involve them to make long-term commitments in ensuring that our SRHR needs are catered for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mercy. And thank health committees you Mercy was referring to near MCS. Sawa sawa. So just the MCS, but at the assembly they are assigned to different committees. Some are in budget. So probably we usually hear issues around public participation. Si tumesikia? Sindio? So those are some of the key people we can approach when we have issues that impacts our health. To Terry, we want to now understand issues environment, climate, SRHR, zinapatana wapi?
Thank you. So, nitakuwa natumia the word intersectionality a lot. Si mnajua vile kitunguu inakaa? Mnaona kitunguu, okay, amionyi lakini mnaiona. So, kitunguu, before tukate kitunguu, we start by, tunaanza kupeel like hizo layers za kitunguu. Intersectionality ni tuna compartmentalize, ni kama tuna dondoa a part of something. For example, if I am a woman living with HIV, niko na disability, naishi Kibera, we cannot use the same approach for me and a woman who lives in Karen, or acha nitumie example ya Turkana. Unaona issues zetu ni different. So kwa intersectionality, ni mwanamke mwenye lazima uangalie, akona disability, one. She's a young person. Kwa the pyramid of inequality, mtu wako huko chini mostly ni a young woman, poor, you have disability, you have HIV. Now when you're nakwanga mostly on top of that pyramid, and the truth is, and this is a very radical way to say it, are rich, old, white men. Now, for us to have an approach to answering things or to addressing community things, at always leta tu ati sasa tupande miti, ati sasa that is one solution. Msichana mwenye anatoka Kibera lazima uangalie, guy, hapa manyumba zimeshikana, they are densely populated. So for example, even they don't have lights for her to go and get her contraceptive services. Seme ata at 7, seme kama anarauka asubuhi, there's a safety concern, si ndio? Maji wanapata ni different. Huwezi compare na msichana mwenye anatoka Turkana or something. So even for climate change, we have seen communities where women use sex work as an adaptation technique. Literally, kumeflood huku kwenyu, for you to pass this community to go to that community, you have to sell sex. Have you heard about that? We have had situations where maji ni chafu and women have reusable sanitary towels, and they have to use that, they have to wash that. You know, that affects their reproductive system. Sindio? We have had situations where when girls and women, and I'll be using girls and women because the truth is, mostly girls and women are affected. When you're affected most by the effects of climate change are girls and women. In Kibera, I'll speak about that because I come from Kibera, where girls and women have been displaced by floods. Na ili uende ulale kwa kanisa, pastor asks you for sex. Yes. Unajua tukisema pastor, mtu aki pastor asks you for sex. Sindio? It's a climate change issue. And if we have like good environmental policies, it will reduce the burden for women and girls. Kwenyu kama hakuna maji, sini wanawake wanaendanga kuchota. I don't know about you, but I'll talk about my community. Women go long distances. Do you know that has an effect on your reproductive system, on your reproductive health? Hata wezi nyesha vizuri, you are tired, it's sunny. That's a climate change issue. So when you talk about SRHR, we need to talk about climate change. What can we do? And the problem is even our policies are not inclusive like that. intersectionality is viewed as a feminist term. Ukiongelea intersectionality, watu wanaona you're a feminist, you're a feminist. Why are you talking about intersectionality? It's radical. But we need to include intersectionality even in our policies. We have a very, very progressive constitution. The 2010 constitution is very, very progressive. The problem is implementation. But even us as civil societies that support the government, we need to be very, very intersectional. Hatuwezi angalia tu SRHR as standalone. We have disability, different, we have ableism, we have ageism, sindio? Even words, you hear some organizations use the word, I mean, it's okay to use family planning, but do you know there are some people, hata wanafunzi wamekaa hapa, that use what we term as family planning because they have PCOS. Apangi uzazi, but si anatumia. But you see, when I stand here and I'm a student and I say, natumia femi plan, ntaangaliwa aje na walimu. You know, like that bombastic side eye, you are promiscuous, unalala na wanaume, but you have PCOS. Children are battling endometriosis. Sindio? Some of it, actually research shows that it's a climate change issue, how our environment is changing and it's affecting the bodies of women. So how dare we talk about SRHR without including climate change? So we are failing. So even wanafunzi wa shule, when you talk about SRHR, tumongelea sex hapa. Hii ni watu wakubwa lakini it even reduces the libido of people, climate change, extreme heat and all those things. They you know, there's like fluctuation of your hormones and stuff like that. So we need to be intentional about speaking about them. Let's speak the truth and also influence policies in this sense. So I think tumelewa what intersectionality is.
Thank you so much, Terry. And now that Terry has talked a lot, and given us a lot of perspectives, do we have questions? Because, for example, when she's talking about menstruation, we have that as part of our lives, right? As young people. So do we have questions that have been bothering us and we needed some answers? We have the expertise here. Just 3 questions. Yes. Let's start here. Yes.
Okay, I'm Mixella. So mine is just, I don't know if it will rhyme with the theme, but talking about policies, and mine is just to ask, when you are giving out, for example, you are some random guy from nowhere and you have a policy which you want it to be implemented, but no one is giving you support. This is like risking yourself. Like, you are giving something, you want a policy to be implemented, but no one is supporting you. Everyone is against you. So you're like putting yourself into risk, putting your life in risk. So I'm asking, how will you survive? Like, for example, I can give an example of this can be much of political, but an example of for example, we have a leader, and that leader is not doing well. So when you're going now to report that this leader is not doing his work, so you are being seen as the bad person. Like, hiyo time tu inafika tu, hiyo time mali umetoka tu hivi kuripoti hiyo issue, unafika tu kwa mlango wewe umeshakatwa shingo. Hata hauna ile nini ya kurudi home au rudi nyumbani. So I'm asking, such issue happen in our community, it's true, but I usually thought that it's only in movies, but it came into reality and I couldn't believe it. So how can you implement it?
Okay.
Can we take all the questions, then
yes,
they'll respond?
We take
okay, sure,
all
thank
the
you.
Questions. Yeah.
So my name is Martin Mungai from M-Pesa Foundation Academy, and my question is, are there other ways that we can use to reach out to you? Because umeongelelea mambo ya MCAs, but then unapata most of the times unaenda kuambia kitu, wanakuambia wamesikia, but then few months later unakuta hata haikupelekwa huko mbele, it was forgotten. So my question is, are there other ways that we can use to reach out to this organization?
Thanks. One last question.
Okay.
Good morning. I have a couple of questions, 3 of them. So I wanted to ask, maybe specifically to the gent who is here. We have discussed and said these issues affect mostly women. But in these discussions, we feel that men are being left out or marginalized to their sides. And they feel like when we are talking about sexual and reproductive health, it's the issue of women and not of men. What can we do to involve men in these issues? The second question was, I think now I can ask the ladies. We are talking about sexual and reproductive health, and we have health solutions that we have, maybe HPV vaccinations and other vaccines that can help in mitigating the transmission of sexual transmitted diseases. Have we included these discussions to inform the youth and those affected? Do we have a framework of involving these medical innovations, medical services that are available to the public? The last question is, we have talked about the policies that we have. They have been revised again and again. And when we are talking to young people, we don't want to give much information about the details of the policies, because we feel that the young people don't have much capacity to understand what the policies are talking about. How are we going to influence these policies if we do not explain to them what these policies are and what it entails? Because we cannot influence what they cannot support you in what they really don't know. The last question is, when we are talking about maybe abortion, contraceptives, where we find maybe young people have information about this, maybe abortion, their reproductive rights, but they do not live alone. They live with their parents. Do we have a way of ensuring that we take into consideration culture where we come from? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the questions. I'm being reminded that there was a burning question somewhere here. Oh, okay. Let me bring it back to my panelists. And we are blessed to have one more panelist. We'll give him 1 minute to tell us his name, and also maybe one more thing he would want us to know about him.
Thank you so much. I'm very sorry for coming in late. Very sorry. My name is Davis Oluoch Odhiambo. I was born in a plateau in Nyabondo, in Nyakach constituency in Kisumu County. Currently, I serve the ODM party in the capacity of Secretary of the ODM Youth League. I'm also the Secretary General of the Inter-Parties Youth Forum, which is a conglomerate of all political youth leagues here in Kenya. According to your topic, I've not well understood it, but what I can say is that all policies in political parties are found in manifestos. And in 2022, we didn't have a manifesto as ODM party, but we had a combined manifesto with Azimio. And what the topic of what I've had the tidbits is that as Azimio, it was well addressed. And we had 10-point agenda. And the agendas, if you read them keenly, we had issues of those things we're talking about in our agenda. If you have a specific question, I will be glad to address.
Yes, and there's one question that came from the young people here, is that when they have issues, they have recommendations, they have suggestions in the terms of policies that should be developed or implemented, they do not have that direct connection to responsible decision makers, policy makers. So maybe you can respond to, are there opportunities for young people to take their views, such that when they have, for example, water, in example, they have an issue with water, and we know that relates to those who are using reusable sanitary towels. How do they bring these issues to those who are responsible for implementations of policies?
From what I've heard, I think there are two issues. What they can do is, first, they should use the lawmakers. And that's why sometimes I'm surprised when people ask me why, if ODM is in the government or not, because of course they are in the government through parliament, and we also have parliamentarians enacting policies in the parliament. So it's for me, it starts in my political party. When my party is writing a manifesto, I must be there to ensure that the policy I want implemented in the next government is in the manifesto. So that if we say that we'll give sanitary pads to young women, it should be well inscribed in our manifesto first, before it then gets to the parliament. But then if we have a parliament already, and the issue of manifesto is long gone, we should follow with the ruling party in looking into their manifesto and asking them questions. Like the ruling party promised us sanitary pads, I think, for the school-going children. Number two is that we can take petitions and bills to the parliament. That is also a thing we can take up. So that if you have an issue, you can approach your member of parliament and tell him this is what I want addressed in so far as policy is concerned, and you can take the bill to the parliament. I think that's what I can say.
Okay, any addition from the rest of the team? Yes, Josephine.
With regards to the question of you have an issue, you don't know who to address it, I think the opportunity that the students have, there is something called, what's the name of this thing? There's an adolescent court of some sort, where if there is any issue affecting adolescents, within your sub-county, just find out within the sub-county that you're in, there's usually a section imetengwa specifically for you. So in case there's an issue affecting you as an adolescent, you can be able to go there and address it from that point. With regards to engagement on issues of policy, venye alikuwa amesema that you cannot be engaged in something that you don't know, I agree. So it's, yes, we are here to educate you, but it's also up to you to try and find out what are these policies, what are they saying. On our end, the best we can do is provide the information. But then you see now, when it comes to engaging adolescents in policy making, the issues of consent and parents come in. So then the conversation needs to shift from how then do we engage adolescents in policy making process without pegging that mzazi akiwa. If I want to engage him, for example, right? And kuna issue of policy affecting men or affecting him in the school. But then aezi kuja onge kama mama yake hayuko, kama mzazi hayuko. But then mzazi akiwa, there's a way you can't talk about certain things with your parents there. So then we need to shift how we are making policies for adolescents to create room for them to come and speak bila kukuja na mzazi. Ndio afungue roho atuambie what exactly are these issues affecting him. I think that's something we need to look at and think through.
Thank you, Josephine. And there's a question on men and SRHR. I know we're having a session in the afternoon that will really diversely talk about this one, but I'll request Terry to just say two things about it.
Yeah, I want to answer the question about umenda yo ya kukatwa shingo. It happens, but one thing about policy advocacy is you cannot, hakuna vile unafanya policy advocacy peke yako. It's impossible. You need people, not only for you to like combine efforts, but for you to spread the risk. For example, I know issues to do with land rights. Uneza enda za uni very fast, anytime. But when we work like different organizations, I mean, you can't be targeted peke yako, you know, and they cannot kill all of us. That I know. So working together makes you spread the risk. And then one thing about policy, I think we have really broken down policy into, you know, like writing memos in parliament and all that. And it's okay, that is policy advocacy as well. But even identifying needs is a very, very, very important part of policy that people don't actually, you know, because I mean, you need research, you need evidence. For example, if you go to parliaments and say, you know what, we want you to include such and such a thing in this policy, it's because we have done our research through our lived experiences, through vitu zingine, such that it's easier for us because we have evidence. Even awareness creation, it is still policy. Policy advocacy, kwenda kwa radio kuambia wase mnajua nini, kuna the NASH policy. Do you know that article 43 ni 43 the highest attainable standards of health? People don't know such things. Kwenda kwa radio, it is still policy advocacy. So tunafaa tutoke place yenye policy advocacy has been imekuwa, it's so bougie such that mtu akisikia the word policy advocacy uko like yo, mimi wa Kibera naingia wapi? You can be there in awareness creation, you can be there in research. And research, si lazima ikuwe research ingine ati now we are calling researchers from Harvard. Even this is research. The fact that maybe probably someone did not know that a Form 3 can be using contraceptives because of PCOS, and now you know. It is still giving information. So we need to break down what policy advocacy is so that our children, our Gen Zs can know where they fit in the puzzle. And the thing about men, I am a very radical feminist. Feminism is not about hating men. It's about gender equality. I have a dad. I have 3 boyfriends. And what I want to say is the Constitution covers us all, whether you are a man, you are a woman, you identify differently, of different genders. The Constitution covers all of us. And it is the responsibility of the government, I want you to hear me, to provide all these services. What CSOs do is tunasaidia serikali. So do not put the baggage on civil society organizations. You have a working government, tulichagua sisi wote. Whether you didn't vote for the president or not, he has a responsibility to cover all of us and our SRHR agenda through the Constitution. But the thing is, the truth is, for example, the issue of climate change. It is fact, it's not an opinion, that women are affected more than men. Are men affected? Yes. But who is affected more? It's true that it is women. So definitely, more work will be put towards women. Our organization is feminist, but we work with men. We have SRHR activities that affect men. Cindy, I mean, there is, what's that cancer for men called? Prostate cancer. It's an SRHR issue. We talk about it, but it is just fact that because it affects women more, we will mostly be pulled towards that direction. But it's nothing against men. We support men. We love you. Tufanye kazi, man.
Okay. Kevin, you want to add something?
Yeah, just
but before that, I wanted to also direct the question on embracing innovation. So maybe you can join it together.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to give a glimpse on male engagement from the question from our friend there. For me, I will say there's no one fit to eat. Just like my colleague says here. There's of importance is to really build capacity for our young men to really ensure that they know what they are well informed on what they're advocating for. They can be able to move into spaces where men are not there and speak out, and stand out for their rights. And this starts from the grassroots level. We need to mobilize from the grassroots level. The same way the Gen Z movement started, leaderless, but they got somewhere. Also, we need to leverage on social media, the bit of innovation. Social media to reach out to these policymakers. Most of them are unreachable physically, but we live in a digital era right now. We can only use what is available to us to reach out to them as the male child. For male engagement, when you look at empowerment for the women per se, over time, for many years, the young girls, the girl child was left behind. They're only being empowered to bring us at par, not to really stand on our heads, as people put it. And that's why you'll realize many people, terming feminism as toxic and all the names that give unto it, But we really need to have facts around male engagement, and specifically positive male engagement.
Maybe the question on embracing innovations. Are there opportunities for young people to access? Because we are talking about information. Where can I know we had a session yesterday, but maybe a highlight of how do we embrace innovations to ensure that information around SRHR is accessible to young people, including those in school?
I think for me, using technology, or rather using tech to reach out to young people, is ensuring that our messages, especially from the CSOs, are well curated, that young people can access them online. They can use different platforms to get this information. We're also using influencers in the digital era to reach out to young people. They can speak to they can speak the language of these young people through social media. Yeah.
Okay. Yes,
Briefly,
Josephine.
with regards to innovation, I think the sexual reproductive health and rights space has embraced a lot of innovation, because we've realized that uko shule 99% of the time. Sometimes you need information and you cannot go to the facility to get it. That's why we have organizations that have toll-free numbers, right? That provide an opportunity for you to, one, speak to a counselor if you want to speak to a counselor. Unachukua tu simu, unaenda to the side, you speak to them. Your parent doesn't have to know who you spoke to. If you need information on where to get services, you just text and you'll be able to get the information that you need. The same toll-free numbers also advocate and give information on the HPV vaccine, encouraging adolescents and encouraging parents for them to take their young people to go get the vaccine. They are also in different schools talking to teachers and then cascading the information that the teachers are able to now convince the parents to allow their students to take vaccines. So I think we are embracing innovation. Are we there yet? Not yet, but I think we are making strides.
Thank you.
May I add something on innovation? I think there's a lot of call right now on the innovation in regards to SRHR and climate change. There are lots of calls. You can check them. Najua mko na masimu. There's a page called Opportunities for Youth on Instagram. But still, even if you innovate something, please be very, very careful. One thing about capitalism, they will steal your idea and they will run with it. Be very, very intentional in patenting your idea and working with mentors that can help you. Because hakuna vile unaweza leta innovation yenye big yenye inaza kutoa kwa poverty, alafu, like someone just like snatches it from you. So even young people need to be intentional. That innovation idea is just being dangled like a carrot like this, and then someone just comes and gives you 100,000 and runs with it. It's capitalism. So let's be careful even with that term, innovation. What is it for you as a young African, as a young person?
And also, Nelson, in the spirit of leaving no one behind,
Yes.
we should really ensure that in as much as we are getting this information online, there are individuals who cannot access these platforms. They are offline. How can we get this information to them? Then that's where things like awareness come in. So we shouldn't really move, we are all westernized, modernized and all, but also, anyway, but the thing is, we also encourage this population that it's not online to be reached offline with this kind of information.
Okay, thank you. The last question was around contraceptive use and what we believe. For example, if from where a young person comes from, the parents would be a no-go zone when you want to use contraceptives, what way out are young people having? Directed to anyone who'd want to respond to that?
I think one thing about contraceptives and cultures is you need to be cognizant of who you are working with. For example, I cannot go to Samburu and namisim Samburu nimeva crop top nabauzia stories of contraceptives. So it's just about emotional intelligence and social intelligence. But one thing is that we need to recognize our cultures where we come from, but we also need to be very, very intentional not to romanticize our cultures that were demeaning towards women, that were demeaning towards human rights, and even the overall being of human beings. So I think that is just like an issue of us integrating the two, but being very, very careful of kuna vitu zimepitwa na wakati, but also our cultures are very, very important. I think that is all I can say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You want to add one?
Yes.
Okay.
On to what she's talking about. With regards to contraceptive use for young people, I think we need to understand, sisi wote hatuko same. Josephine and Mercy, we are two different individuals. So even when it comes to giving access to contraceptive services, the government, the ministry, our parents, we need to also realize we are different. Because if Josephine already has, I'm like, what, 15, I already have 3 children. And I want a contraceptive and you're not giving me. I'll end up having more children. You're denying me access to something that I'm entitled to get in this context. But then for someone who's not yet having sex, but they want the contraceptive, there is room for you to give them information. Let them understand contraceptives work like this and allow them to make the choice. It's a matter of realizing adolescents are different, their needs are different, so we need to program for them differently.
Thank you so much, Josephine, for that. I'm going back to the next panelist, and the question still goes to opportunities. We've talked about memos, we've talked about user public participations. Now, give us more opportunities that exist for young people to explore and ensure that their voices are heard.
I'm sorry, I'm a politician, and so a lot of things I'll say are related to politics. First, this discussion is liberal, and ODM is a liberal political party, and so that's why I feel comfortable sitting and listening to them. Secondly, about opportunities. Moderator, I'm only privy to opportunities in political parties and in issues politics. And that as a political party, we have a network called the Liberal Network. We have liberal networks in the world, and we have members today in a seminar in Germany. talking about such issues about liberalism. And we have a liberal network in Africa. So if you join political parties when you're done with school, and people who are out of school, when you join political parties, you meet other people and hear their views, hear what the Germans are saying, hear what the Liberal Party of America or the Democratic Party are saying, hear about what the Labour Party is saying in Germany, and hear about what ACT Wazalendo is saying in Tanzania, and NUP is saying in Uganda, and what ODM stands for in Kenya. And so what I can say is about and what CMD is doing, and what all these organizations are doing, is that we need capacity building there are opportunities of capacity building, so that people are taught about their rights. And one of the panelists said that even men should be included. ODM currently is working on a paper on gender inclusions in the party, and we've done a research on how many women are included in opportunities in the party. And in the party we have at least 4 organs. There is a Central Management Committee. We found out that there are only 10% of women. In the NEC, there are only 10%. And in the Delegates Conference, there are 20%. And then we came up with solutions on how we can then increase the numbers of women in the political parties' top leadership management. So what I said is that capacity building, opportunities, and there are very many other scholarships. I think if you work well with your social media accounts and the internet, around the scholarships, the trainings, and blah blah blah. Thank you so much.
Okay, as we move towards the end of our session, I'll just bring the question to our panelists. Your key message to young people. I know sometimes we might not have all the time to give all the information. Maybe just one key message to young people, and then we'll end it there.
So
Okay.
For me, it's just one takeaway for young people. We've got youth-led and youth-serving organizations here that are working under the SRHR umbrella. So we should really strive to be part of these movements, to be able to, to be nurtured, so that you can be able to even speak in international and regional forums, whereby young people are always invited to speak out about stories from their own communities, lived realities that build a lot in the policy-making processes globally, and also that really come to be domesticated in our countries.
My key message is as we end this session, I'll just end with a quote. If it is to be, it is up to me. Always remember that if it is to be, it is up to me. So it is my responsibility to be able to learn the correct, concise, and consistent information on SRHR, and then I can leverage on opportunities like this one. See, we've learned something. Yeah. Leverage on opportunities like this one to be able to equip ourselves with knowledge on matters of SRHR and policies. Then we can be able even to form allyship with policymakers. Just make sure that we are allies with them, so that our needs, just like Josephine spoke and said, like, our needs are unique. Let your needs be spoken for in the policies that are going to be formulated. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, for me, I'll say, for the adolescents in the room and for all of us here, remember that your story can bring about policy change. You just need to know a matter of framing it and who to address it to.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I'd say, as much as most of our audience are young people, I have a very radical way of thinking, Mr. May. Let's get into politics, y'all. Everything is political. That chair you are seated on is political. That Yungu Mevani political. The fact that Nairobi is here today is political. And the fellow from ODM will tell you. The reason why we fail even in policy is because we are not political. That is why Atutapata MPs to push for our legislations. Start getting interested in politics for young people, for Gen Zs in the room. Start getting interested in politics, you guys. The reason why most of our legislations fail, even as we push for policy advocacy in parliament, is because we do not use a political angle into it. Be interested in politics, read about political people. Go to these ODM meetings, learn a thing or two. It will support the movement.
I said I'm Davis Solwatch. She's just used my line. That's what I wanted to say. Education is on the ballot. Healthcare is on the ballot. The infrastructure is on the ballot. the media industries on the ballot. So engage in politics. And Chinua Achebe asks, where are the young suckers who will grow when the old banana dies? And we can see that my party leader is growing old. Ruto is growing old. President Ruto. Stephen Kalonzo is growing old. And Chinua Achebe is asking us today, where are the young suckers who will grow when the old banana dies? And Pierre Lumumba reminds us that politics and everything is a relay race, that when one runner runs, he hands over the baton to the other. So young men and women in good school uniforms and young men and women in one-inch uniforms get into politics, and let's improve our policy in the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for the wonderful insights from our panelists. We thank you so much from the audience. We also thank you from deep our hearts. We are grateful for your insights, for your questions, and we are all here. If you have a question that you've not asked, you can approach any of us. We are still around. You can ask any of the questions, and we'll be able and happy to respond to. And to that point, here, thank you and allowing my panels to take their leave. Thank you, MC.
Right,
you call yourselves chief. Karibu sana
I'm
chief.
the chief of this panelists. Panelists tafadhali msiende kwa mbio. Simama hapo. A moment of photo. A photo. I need a photo of this panel pamoja na moderator wetu Mr. Nelson. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Let's take a photo. Let's take a photo of the panel.
Production. Ding Dong Ravens. Represent to all the schoolers.
Very nice, very
School
nice.
girls,
Very nice.
are you me attack?
Asante sana.
Hey, you are the future. You are the future queens for our sweet Jamaica. You know fi bore. You know fi pierce up your ears.
Very nice, very nice.
You better watch where you wear. A lot of perverts out here.
Aya, asante sana. Wapi makofi ya hii panel?
Hey, watch your friends so you keep.
Thank you, Nelson. DJ. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Jipigeni makofi. Haya, wapi makofi tena ya panel yetu? Wapi makofi ya moderator wetu Mr. Nelson? Haya, asante sana. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have you learned something? Have you learned something? What have you learned? Nipelekea mic huko. Nipelekea mic audience. Copy Alex. Asante sana, asante sana. So now, what have you learned?
The miss who was seated there, I think Miss Terry, has said that something that I've learned from what she has said is that feminism is not about hating the male gender, but it is about gender equality and at some point gender equity, giving the specific gender what they really need for us to be at par as a nation.
I've learned something from the parting shot by Josephine when she said that your story can bring change. Let's not sit on our stories. Be the voice you want to hear and let people get to know your story, because it is from the small stories that we tell that big changes come.
Okay, so something that I've learned from Miss Ushe that she studied in Dandora is do something, not for the betterment of you, but also for the rest who will follow. When they changed the school diet because it was not that conducive, they tried working on it, and after visiting the school again, she found that everything was well. So when also coming to matters concerning the reproductive health, take initiatives that will not only help you, but they will help everybody around you.
Thank you so much. Kuna mwingine? Aya, wapatie. Nataka wengine watatu wa mwisho waje.
As youth, we can come out and speak out, and we can bring change in the society and make someone's life better. Let us come out and speak.
Okay, personally, so I've learned that if it's to be, then it's up to me. I should take full responsibility of whatever I want achieved. Thank you.
Makofi hapa.
Okay, hi. I'm Sarah Meshrin from SEDO. I have learned that if you speak in a one voice, it can get a change because, like, if there's a issue, let's give example like a maandamano. Venye watu walienda maandamano walienda wengi. Ingekuwa mmoja, hiyo finance bill ingetolewa. Yeah.
Umesikia wa kuinject. Wanaanza kuinject huku mapema sana.
Hello. What I've learned is SRHR go beyond biology. It informs young generation to make informed decisions about life, health, and relationship, and maybe their future.
Makofi, makofi. It's all about making informed decision. And I'll just pass the mic to Mark so he can tell us exactly what we'll be doing next.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jipigeni makofi tena. All right, I want us to stand. I want us to stand up. I want us to stand. Tusimame. Tusimame. I want us to stretch kidogo tumeketi sana. We are moving into a very interesting session ya kucheza na vitu hapa. Kuna vitu tunaenda kucheza nazo hapa. As Ramwaka prepares, I want us to stretch so that we can prepare our bodies and our physique and our minds ready to receive the next session. All right, I want you to swing kidogo. Swing, swing, swing. Everyone stand. Kila mtu asimame. Kila mtu asimame. Wale wameketi na waona. If you can, please stand up. If you can, please stand up. If you can, please stand up. Thank you so much. Asante sana, asante sana. I want to see you swinging kidogo. Just swing, just swing. Swing, 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 swing. Aya mbele, mbele, nyuma, mbele, nyuma, mbele, nyuma, mbele, nyuma. Aya, very nice. So now, 1 plus 1. Swaski, 1 plus 1. 2 plus 2. 4 plus 4. 8 plus 8. 16 plus 16. 32 plus 32. 64 plus 64. 128 plus 128. 256 plus 256. 256 plus 256. Yeah? Huh? 412 plus 412.
We Mark wewe. 256 plus 256 ni 412.
512. Aya, 512 plus 512. 1024 plus 1024. Wengine wameanza kusema 2020. Aya, so now I want us to stretch in a very special way. Kuna wale naona wameketi pale nyuma na waona. I see you. Nataka msimame, nataka msimame. So this is how we are going to stretch, eh? We are going to stretch tukifanya hesabu. Sawa sawa? Nikisema 1, fanya hivi. Your right hand, this is our 1. Sawa sawa? And also this is our 1. Sawa sawa? And this is our plus sign. Hivi. This is our plus sign. Tumeelewana? This is our plus sign. Aya, this is our equal sign. Sawa sawa? Unatingiza kiuno, unatingiza kiuno. Sawa sawa? Unakitingiza kiuno. Aya, so now let's do a trisex. Aya, you repeat after me. You repeat after me. Sawa sawa? All right, 1. Siwasikii jameni, siwasikii jameni. Aya, 1 plus 1 is equals to afu unachora 2. Sawa sawa? Tumeelewana? Aya, let's start from the top. Aya, 20, 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1 plus waski. Sauti. 2. Aya, 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. Sawa sawa? Unasimama na mguu moja hivi. Tumeelewana?
Hiyo itashinda.
Aya, nataka kusikia sauti, nataka kusikia sauti. Aya, 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Aya, 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. Aya, 4 plus 4. 4 plus 4 is equals to 8. Sawa sawa. Unazungusha kiuno vizuri. Sawa sawa. Aya. Aya, tuanzie 1. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Sawa sawa. Aya, twende 2. 2. Sioni wengine wakifanya, tutaanza. Aya, 2, twende 2. 2 plus sauti 2 is equals to 4. Very nice. Aya, 24 plus 4. 4 plus 4 is equals to 8. Aya, 8 plus 8. 8 plus 8 is equals to 1 alafu 6. Sawa sawa. Aya, sasa nataka twende haraka haraka. From the beginning, tunaanzia from 1. Sawa sawa. Aya, twende in 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Aya, 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. Aya, 4 plus 4, sauti. 4 plus 4 is equals to 8. Aya, 8. 8 plus 8 is equals to 16. Avueka full stop. Very nice. Jipigeni makofi tunapoketi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention. I would love to pass some information. This is the right here, right now space. This is the right here, right now village. And we are here. We've been here for the last 3 days. Today being the third day. We are really excited. We are really learning, and also we are really engaging and getting to know what concerns us in matters of reproductive health. Au sio, si ndio? Tumekuwa tukilearn, si ndio? Tumekuwa tukiengage, si ndio? Aya, kwa wale wako na simu tafadhali, please take a selfie of yourself. Take a selfie of yourself. Make sure there's no student in that picture of yours. Then you can post it online. You can tag your friends, tag yourself, tag the neighbor sitting next to you. Muulize what is your Twitter, your Facebook, your social media handles. Sawa sawa. And then now we are using the hashtags Bisna SRHR, and also we are using the hashtag Formni Dialogue, the hashtag We Are Bits, and also the hashtag Come to Bonge. And let's keep the conversation going on our social medias. Unaweza post at our WhatsApp status at least kesho being the last day that we are here, so that your friends can make sure they are coming. And kwa wale ambao hawajafika siku ya leo, tell them mambo yameanza kuchacha, mambo yameanza kushika moto. Au vipi? Aya, ambia neighbor. How you feeling today? How you feeling today? Aya, akujibu. I want to see people talking. Ask them how they are feeling today. Waulize how they are feeling today. Very nice. Very nice. How many are feeling good? How many are feeling fantastic? How many are feeling fantamagorious? How many are feeling simplicious? How many are feeling circumference? Very nice. Jipigeni makofi tena. All right, now at this junction time, I would love to invite the awesome, the beautiful, and the very loving Ramwaka.
Kwani Ramwaka dance?
Tunamuitanga daktari.
Ramwaka rudi pale.
Aya, rudi
pale Ramwaka. Unajua Ramwaka alikuwa anadhani tutamwachia. Aya, unataka ngoma gani?
Hiyo nye DJ anacheza tu.
Haya ni Friday.
Cheka na mikoa ni bachelor no job.
Wapi makofi ya Ramwaka? Makofi akiingia. Makofi ya daktari.
Jamaa leo network black. Sasa 11 ndio ilianza. Kila mtu piga simu. Ni Friday siku ya
haya DJ. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. The stage is yours. Tushike tu. Haina shida.
Siku moja hata mimi nakuanga MC nitawapata. Nitawapata siku moja.
Haina shida.
Ni ajeni. Hello, it's me again. Si mnanikumbuka? Ayeya. Gen Z. Ayeya. kuna wenye ni wazee kama mimi. Ayeya poa poa. Nikisema ayeya mnasema ayeya. So mko poa? So leo nataka kuna watu walikuwa nasema jana art. Si ndio? Nataka volunteers. Kama unajua kuchora, kama umejiamini sana. Kama unajua kupaint. Kuja. Kuna goodies. Mama
Wakuja. Mazuri ni mengi. Umesema wangapi?
Watu 6.
Watu 6. They'll come for 6. Aya, simameni hapo. Aya, wako wapi? Na ngoja watatu. I need 3 more. Isikwe wote ni wa M-Pesa Foundation. Ngoja. Rudi kwanza. Aya, hiyo shule nyingine pia tumeiona hapa. Aya, nimeona uniform ni mingi hapa. Ampendi act. Aya, mje basi, nataka wakuje.
Kujeni.
From a different school pia.
Mark, kwani upendi M-Pesa?
M-Pesa wana dominate everywhere. Wana dominate kwa simu yangu, pia hapo wanataka kudominate. Aya, nataka shule nyingine. Very nice. Mpigieni makofi anapokuja. Thank you so much. Aya, nataka wengine wawili. Wengine wawili from a different school. Msiogope, niko na zawadi. Aya, in 3, 2, 1. Aya, watu wa M-Pesa wakuje. Wawili. Nataka msichana na kijana.
Kuna hii shule iko na blue.
Nataka msichana na kijana.
Mark.
Yes.
Kuna hii shule iko na blue hapa.
Wamesema wapendi art.
Hawapendi art.
Ampendi art. Hata pia kama huko shule unataka kupaint, njoo hapa. Nishakuona ndugu yangu, nishakuona. Njoo. Ni wewe naita. Njoo jamani. Very nice. Njoo.
Ndio huyo anakuja.
Very nice. Very nice.
Nataka wa dance. Siwezi dance peke yangu.
DJ pull up. Aya, wamesema hawezi ingia stage hivyo, wanataka miondoko ya kuingia nayo kwenye stage. Aya, so nice. Aya, when the DJ plays, tafadhali tuanze kwenda kwenye stage. You stop when the music stops. Aya, in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Twende kazi.
DJ, do your thing. Very nice. Wapi makofi yao jamani? Very nice. Nyinyi naona nikiwaita harusi.
Kwa ICS.
Very nice. Twende. Very nice.
Nyinyi watu wa ICS, ndio?
Very nice. Amuna dance style nyingine kwani? Twende. Wapi makofi yao jamani? Wapi makofi yao? Haya, wale wanatoka dansa kwa harusi ndio hao tunaona. Haya, DJ. Thank you so much. Haya, msongeni na mwaka wa.
Karibuni. Mliamua mimi ni daktari, si ndio? Mimi ni msanii. Mkipenda thespian. But I live in an African home. So, mnaona hapa kuna canvas tatu, si ndio? Mnaona canvas tatu. Jana mlikuwa hapa jana? Tulikuwa tunaongea about rights, si ndio? Sexual reproductive health, si ndio? So kwa hizi canvas 3 mko wangapi? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Kuna moja watakuwa wawili wenye wanajiamini sana. Na au wengine mtajidivide, so 3 3 2. Hebu jigawaneni. 3 3 2. Na msijipeleke ati shule. Mtalia sana. Mkijeka uone place unaweza pata kura mingi. 3 3 2. Mnaweza swap. Agree. 3 3 2.
Unaweza badilisha chama saa hii.
Unaweza badilisha chama saa hii.
Usiogope.
Mko sawa? Mmekubali? Mmekubali? Sasa Imbogi iko huku au wanataka kuingia competition ya 20 minutes ya kupaint hapa. Na nyinyi ndo mtakuwa judge, si ndio? Na wakipaint tutakuwa tunawapatia ideas. Tutakuwa tunawapea nini? Tutakuwa tunawapea nini? Ideas. So nataka kila mtu akuje, DJ atatupeleka na kila mtu achague meza yake. And unwrap your canvas. Alafu niwasomee swali. So, Kenya wana paint, nataka ionyeshe hii statement naenda kusema. Competitors, are you ready? Wait. Msiume na meno. Are you ready? Nikuje. Nikuje.
Hapana.
Nikuje.
Hapana.
Ni hivo.
Hapana.
Ni hivo.
Ni hizo.
Are you ready? So, jana tuliongelea sana about young people na rights. So, I have a statement here that nataka wa paint. Alafu pia nyimu wasaidie na ideas. My rights are mine. My voice stays strong. No shame, no silence. I rise, I belong. My rights are mine. My voice stays strong. No shame, no silence. I rise, I belong. Sawa sawa. Na tulisema mambo mengi. My rights, yani unaweza andika. Rights zako ni zako, si ndio? Voice yangu ina remain strong. No shame, no silence, hakuna kunyamaza. I rise and I belong. My rights are mine. My voice stays strong. Mko ready? Unajua tunasema mwanzi sahi tunaenda kusema on your marks. My rights are mine. Mmepata tu sticky notes. My rights are mine. My voice stays strong. My rights are mine. My voice stays strong. No shame, no silence. I rise, I belong. Naona wengine hata washaanza kutest paintbrush. Mko sawa? Kuna mtu anaitwa Dollarman. Dollarman ako wapi? Dollarman. Anaitwa Dollarman for real. Hiyo ni jina yake. Dollarman. Wako ready? Nataka tuanze. Na nataka uanze kuwasaidia as they give ideas. Ako wapi Mamba? Mark. Mark ikifikanga tu time yangu.
Ndio huyo mimi, ndio huyo mimi.
Anatoroka.
Ndio mimi. Nilikuwa na confirm. Very nice, very nice. So I'll be calling someone on stage. Sawa sawa. Na niko na zawadi. Remember zawadi ni mingi haziishi. Nyinyi focus. You focus, focus, focus. Focus. Aya, so now I'll be calling someone on stage. Aya, nani anataka kuanza kuja stage? Just raise up your hand. Inua mkono, inua mkono, inua mkono. Usiogope. Aya. Mrembo aliye nyuma. Mwenye shati blue kwa kizungu nini? Oh, samawati. Aya, njoo basi. Wewe. Aya, sasa utaenda kwa mwenzangu pale, atakupa kadi. Utaisoma kimoyomoyo. Soma kimoyomo. Kimoyomoyo. Umeshasoma? Take your time. Kwa sawa? Aya, sasa nataka uende ushike mtu mkono. Umlete hapa mbele. Mwenye unaona anaweza jibu hiyo swali na usimwambie ni swali gani. Aya, ama chagua tu kutoka hapa. Chagua tu kutoka hapa. Unamuita kwa jina ama kwa unampoint tu.
Lona.
Aya, Lona kwa wapi? Lona kwa wapi? Wapi makofi ya Lona jamani?